What's going on? What's going down? This Hood Atheist, and I'm back with another one. So, I guess today, being that everything's going on in the world, chaos and madness, I guess I'm gonna address, the obvious elephant in the room, you know, which is, racism. And we're gonna try to tie this racism into, God. And we're going to try to, make sense of the madness, And we're going to try to basically use logic, what we do every single time. We're just going to use logic and understanding. And then we're going to make something out of this. All right. So for the first thing, with the George Floyd situation, very sad situation, I might say. Man, when I look at things like that, I just say, damn, that could have been me. That could have been me. What's to make it not me? So the question would be, is why did God hate George Floyd so much? Why? What did George Floyd do to God to make him go through that agonizing, oh my God, minutes of his death? I mean, what did he do? I mean, as far as, the posts that I've seen, it was all positive posts, uplifting posts. So I'm trying to wonder, why would God allow 4 officers to actually murder this man in cold blood in broad daylight in the middle of the street? And to understand that, we're going to have to go back, because really there's no understanding of it, right? Because God didn't exist, and he doesn't exist. Because if he did a just God, a God that's loving, right? He would stop that situation before it even can happen, because he's all knowing, right? So he can at least do that, right? I mean, where is he at in all of this chaos? I mean, he hasn't stepped in to stop the coronavirus. He hasn't stepped in to stop the rioting and the looting. He hasn't done any of those things. I mean, what is he doing right now? So, in order to understand certain things, we're going to have to go back. And we're going to have to go back to, for the people that really believes there's a God, right? I'm going to play devil's advocate for this one, right? So let's say that God did exist, right? Let's say that he is a world being, right? We would have to look at history, and we would have to go all the way back to slavery. And we would have to go back where slaves were so religious. I mean, they used to sing Negro spirituals. They was into the Bible. I mean, probably more than they are now. I mean, that's all they really did. They looked up like God was a being that would one day, take them out of bondage and take them out of slavery, which never happened. I mean, women were raped in front of their husbands. Husbands were raped in front of their women as humiliation tactics. I mean, women were raped. Guys were beaten and tortured. I mean, even children, little black children, were used as alligator bait. Were also, before they were old enough, before their body was even grew into an adult body, already they were working in the fields. And all of these people really believed in God. All of them had that idea in their head that maybe one day God will save them. I mean, this only went on for over 400 years. And he never stepped in. He never said, you guys are wrong for what you're doing to, these black people, and, to give them that fair chance. So the question I would ask, is God a racist? Is that what it is? Because when we look back in history, black people have always got the short end of the stick. I mean, when it comes to financial, I mean, any facets of life that you can name, they have they have that. They are superior when it comes to that, right? So we have to look at the obvious. These people that really love God and a loving God that they really trusted and really loved and, gave their devotion. I mean, even though they were working in I mean, even though they was working in cotton fields and different kind of, you know, um, let's call it sweatshops, they still found time to actually pray to a God that they felt like existed and would help them, which he never did. So is he racist? Because throughout history in America, black people have got the short end of the stick. Why would a just God allow tormentors to be superior to the victim? I mean, if I'm a God, I'm gonna give it to the victim. I'm not gonna let the tormentor shine. So is God racist? I mean, we can even go up to today's date to police brutality. God has never stepped in to stop police brutality. Police brutality has been going on for so long. I have experienced police brutality. I grew up in a neighborhood where you have white officers that come in the neighborhood, and it's not really policing that they do. They just come to the neighborhood, empty your pockets, do this, do that, just yelling orders at other men, right? A lot of them didn't even have no kind of, idea or anything. They just came in and did what they wanted to do. These are the oppressors. God has allowed the oppressors to flourish, to actually flourish from what they are doing. And for those of the people that's saying, well, they'll get judged, when they go to heaven. I mean, I would like to have a nice life now, not wait until I die. I want to enjoy this, right? Why I have it. I want to enjoy this. So, we're going to even go to financial. I mean, if you look at the ratio from black people that have money from white people that have money in America, white people are years, hundreds of years ahead of black people. And this is the reason why we look at people like Jay-Z. We look at people like Kanye, Puff, the owner of BET, and these different prominent black men that has large amounts of money. And even though they have large amounts of money to the average person, to the rich white man, it's really nothing. I mean, we're talking about this guy, Jeff Bezos. He's about to be a trillionaire. I mean, we're talking about he's about to be a trillionaire. Warren Buffett, billions of dollars, right? There's not even no comparison to Warren Buffett and Puff. I mean, he has all of their money probably 5 times over, right? To him, they would look broke to him. And this is only because the hundreds of years have put people ahead. It has put a race ahead of another race. And that's exactly what it is. So my thing is with this is, why is God backing them financially? Why is he backing terrorists? Because that's exactly what they are. Why is he backing them financially? And they're doing good financially. Why doesn't he have a system set up for his own people, which would be the church going people, so they don't have to pass around plates, they don't have to stand in the street and ask for donations, and they don't have to do that. You set up everything for the tormentors, but you haven't set up anything for the people that's actually loving, the people that actually believes in you, the people that actually honors you, that takes time out their day to show their love and respect for you. And this is how you treat them? A loving God? Nah, this is not loving, man. This is definitely not loving, all right? And what he needs to do is set up some kind of financial institution for his people. That way, they're not always begging. You would think he would at least do that, right? He has powers. At least he could set up a financial institution or like a bank where they don't have to ask for money. I mean, he could give them unlimited funds, right? Yeah, I guess they got to fend for themselves, right? So even when we talk about systematic racism, why has he given white people the upper hand when it comes to systematic racism? Why? I mean, there's jobs where black men cannot go in and successfully get a job out of that institution just based off of their skin color. Right? So why has he given them the upper hand even when it comes to employment? Now, the bad thing, which is a good thing, is what the black community is going to have to start doing is going to have to start throwing away the notion of a God. Because as long as you keep looking for a God to help you out of situations, you can never fully do it yourself. You are looking for something that has never, he hasn't helped people in more extreme situations than this. So what would make you think that your prayer right now would cause some change? He would finally step in. He would say, you know what? I know that I effed up in slavery. I know that, but you know what? I'm gonna make it back to you guys. It's just, it's ridiculous. And so what the black community is going to have to start doing is to have to throw this notion out. You know, in order to move forward, you have to throw this notion out that there's God that loves people, and that's ridiculous. I mean, in the Bible, there are actual verses, you know, that's pertaining to slavery, on how to treat a slave, how to beat a slave, how long can you keep a slave. I mean, this is the book that the black community is actually following the guidelines of this book. A bogus book, if I might add. A bogus book. A bogus book. So, the thing with this is that I believe if there was a God, he is a racist. And the reason why he is because everything that has been shown to us since people have been coming to America has worked against black people. So God is racist. That's what he is. He's racist. I believe he's a skinhead. If he's real, he's a skinhead. And I wouldn't advise any black person to actually follow him, even if he was real. Look what he allowed to happen to your ancestors. Look what he allows to happen right now with no intervention, no nothing. I mean, this guy, they say that this guy, George Floyd, he was using counterfeit money. That's still not a reason to die. And even if that was the case, and God, I mean, he's everywhere, right? So if he's everywhere, he was standing right there watching this guy die slowly and did nothing in his power, which he has unlimited power. He did nothing in his power to stop that vicious, slow, painful death. So if I was black people, I would revolt against God, the number one enemy, the number one person that has been making you guys struggle, having not intervening when dogs were sick on black people, fire hoses. I mean, he was there for all that. Not a peep, not a word. And usually, when you stay silent about something that you see, that is an act of condoning what's going on. That's what he's doing. He's condoning this. And he's a racist. So I like to end this off with saying, rest in peace to George Floyd, man. Man, I feel so bad that this happened to you, bro, man. And I really wish I could have been there to help you, man. To the family of George Floyd, man, stay strong, man. Keep the prayers out your mouth. To the black people, I'ma say this. He hasn't helped you. He won't help you. Doesn't care. And the reason why is because he doesn't exist and he never existed. This is Hood Atheist. Over now.